What's going on, Renzo gang? You already know what time it is. It's your boy Brian Renzo Viz, and today I am back with another reaction video. Haha. Now, with that being said, this is something different. This one is titled Tekken Anime Lore Series. And the superstar that I'm reacting to is King. And for those that don't know, Tekken is one of those fighting video games that I grew up on. It came out in the 90s. In my opinion, personally, it's one of the best fighting games. Hand-to-hand fighting games. It's up there with Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Virtual Fighter, Dead or Alive, Bloody Roar, Killer Instinct, all of that. King of Fighters, all of that. But Tekken, that's probably the first video game I've ever played was Tekken. And with that being said, they dropped anime series, like a little anime lore series on the characters. I'm not sure exactly if it's based on the characters canon wise from the game or if they changed something up. I don't know. But we about to dive on into it. I know y'all ready. For all my video game fans and my Tekken fans, I know y'all ready for this. And honestly, I hope it's canon. Because I love a good canon story. Whether it's comic books, anime, video games, whatever. I love a good canon storyline with a little razzle dazzle, little twist to it. That being said, let's get it.
In the back alleys of Mexico City, a young boy fought for survival. This boy, with no real name known to anyone, was a fixture in the underground street fighting scene.
Now, when it comes to King, I wonder, for those that know, that played the game Tekken, you know there's two kings, just like there's two Armor Kings. The first king from Tekken 1 to Tekken 2, that was the first king. He was killed before Tekken 3 happened by, the ancient god of fighting, the alien Ogre. He was killed by Ogre. And then Tekken 3 to all the way to the new Tekken, we got the King 2. King 2. Just like the first Armor King, he was killed by Craig Marduk before Tekken 4 happened. He was killed by Craig Marduk. And he has a brother that's Armor King that came later on, like Tekken 6. Well, really, Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection and then Tekken 6. So I don't know which king this is. I'm going to assume this is the first king. So with that being said, let's get back into it.
A child with no past and no future. His piercing eyes spoke volumes of the hardships he'd endured. His brawls were brutal, a dance of rage and despair, each
Yes.
punch thrown
And he
with the
didn't really talk
ferocity
like
of a
that. That's what
caged
I love
animal.
about King. He's
Yet, in
mysterious.
his heart, the boy was more
Both King
lost
1
than
and 2.
fierce. Abandoned at a young age, the streets became his home.
Yeah.
He grew up with no guidance, no love, only the harsh lessons taught by hunger
I
and
didn't really get a
isolation.
good back.
Every
I didn't really know too much on King like that. Like I said, King is one of those characters in Tekken that's very mysterious. He's not too mysterious, but he's a mysterious character. Because I didn't know too much on King's backstory. Well, the first King, that is. I didn't know too much on his backstory. So it looks like this might be the first King.
fight was a desperate grasp for control in a world that had none to offer. As he fought, his mind raced with feelings of anger and desperation,
Yeah.
a release of the pain he carried inside, a silent cry for help that no one could hear. He wondered if there would ever be more to his life than this endless cycle of violence. But fate intervened one fateful night, when after a particularly vicious fight, he was left wounded and barely conscious. Stumbling through the dark streets, he found himself at the steps of a monastery. It was there that the Marquez priest discovered him, a broken body bearing the scars of a life no child should endure.
Yeah.
Little did he know that this moment would mark the beginning of a new chapter in his life.
He was raised, yeah. Both the kings, they were both raised, Catholic Church. The first king, he I don't know if this is the first king. I don't know because the second king, he had a violent upbringing. He had a violent upbringing. So I don't know if this is the first king or the second king. I hope they talk about if they want to stick to storyline canon wise, give me a good backstory on the first king. Then go to the second king. So I'm not sure, but we will see.
Within the monastery's peaceful walls, the boy found something he had never known: kindness. The Marquez priests, led by Father Antonio, nursed him back to health in both body and spirit. Father Antonio, a man of immense compassion and wisdom, saw beyond the boy's hardened exterior. He saw a soul crying out for salvation. From
Mm.
the ashes of his past, a new fighter was rising, and so began the journey of the one they would come to call.
King.
Believing he wasn't worth saving, the boy hesitantly asked the priest why he would even bother helping him.
¿Por qué te ayudé? Porque, jovencito, todo
So yeah, this is the first king. Okay, this is the first king. That's all I wanted to know because I we only got this king for two Tekken games, so that's why I just want to know which king this was.
el mundo merece la oportunidad de reescribir su historia. Por muy oscuras que sean las páginas, siempre hay lugar para la luz.
Looking down at his bruised knuckles, fists and fighting was all he knew.
Yep.
Considering the priest's words for a moment, he asked if someone like him could even find redemption.
No se encuentra la redención. Se construye día a día, elección tras elección. Y veo en ti un corazón listo para el cambio.
He felt a wave of emotion wash over him as he listened to Father Antonio's words. A part of him wanted to believe that redemption was possible, but the weight of his past seemed too heavy to bear. He silently vowed to himself that he would do whatever it took to become the person the priest saw in him. Under their care, he underwent a profound transformation.
Mm.
He hung up his fists, renouncing the violence that had defined his existence. Instead, he embraced the teachings of the church, finding solace in faith and purpose in service. The monastery became his new home, a place where he could heal and grow. Now older, he could never fully turn away from his past. He saw his pain reflected in the eyes of the street children where he once existed. He vowed to save them from the path he had walked, temporarily bringing them to the.
And it's dope. They're letting us see his face because we already know King. He has the Jaguar's mask, the leopard mask, Jaguar mask, whatever. He had that mask, and he doesn't speak. He just growls, and he never shows his face. And that's what I love about King. He's mysterious, and I'm glad that they're giving a full backstory on the first King, not the second, but the first one. I didn't really know too much on the first King. And like before I got like heavy into like video games, I didn't even know there were two kings. I thought it was just one king. I never knew there were two, just like I never knew there were two armor kings. But let's dive on into it. And this is canon wise so far.
Monastery. His dream of building an orphanage for these lost souls became a
Okay, this is
driving force.
first king.
He wanted to offer them hope, a chance
Yep.
at a life he never had. Determined to make his dream a reality, the young man knew he had to find a way to fund the orphanage.
Yep.
It was then that he decided to return to the ring, not as a street brawler, but as a masked luchador wrestler,
Mm-hmm.
adopting a jaguar mask that would go on to become the iconic symbol of his new identity.
Yes, sir.
The name, King. As he stepped into the ring, he left behind the desperate street fighter and became the Beast Priest, a warrior with a cause. With this new purpose fueling him, King threw himself into training, refining his skills and evolving his fighting style, a path that would lead him to unexpected rivalries.
I love it. I love it.
King's journey in the wrestling world was off to a good start as he began to gain notoriety. But he would soon come to face an opponent who matched his same intensity.
Armor King.
His early career saw a fateful encounter with Armor King.
Armor King.
A masked wrestler. Their rivalry was intense,
That's the first
fought
Armor
by a
King and the
match
first
that would
King.
change both their lives. In the heat of the moment, King accidentally caused a severe injury to Armor King,
Mm-hmm.
damaging his eye.
Yep.
This incident would haunt King, becoming the beginning of a rivalry he never wanted. Armor King, a renowned luchador known for his fierce fighting spirit and his quest for worthy opponents, had built a reputation as a formidable dojo crasher. When he first
Mm-hmm.
encountered King, he was intrigued by the similarity of their titles and the skill King possessed. Their initial battle was fierce, and though Armor King lost, it only fueled his determination to prove himself against this worthy adversary.
Mm-hmm. One of the best rivalries in Tekken, Armor King and King. Those are one of my two favorite rivalries. One of my two favorite rivalries. Outside, of course, Heihachi and Kazuya, Kazuya and Jin, Jin and Huarang, and Nina and Anna Williams, the sisters. I love this. I've always wanted a good backstory on King and Armor King, and now I'm finally getting it, people. I'm finally getting it. This is what I want. I know this is what y'all want, especially for my Tekken fans out there. They didn't really know too much on this. You're welcome. Mm-hmm.
As King's reputation grew in the wrestling world, whispers of a legendary tournament reached his ears. The King of Iron Fist Tournament, a
Tekken.
gathering of the world's most formidable fighters.
Oh, see, you got Yoshimitsu, you got Paul Phoenix, Michelle Chang, the first Jack, Nina Williams, King, Kazuya Mishima, and you got Martial Law, the King of Iron Fist tournament, the first Tekken.
With a generous prize purse awaiting the winner, King knew this could be the opportunity he had been seeking to secure the future of his orphanage. With a
Mm-hmm.
resolute heart, King entered the tournament as a wrestler, as a guardian fighting for a cause greater than himself.
Yep.
The stage was set for battles that would test his mettle and determination like
Yep.
never before.
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist tournament.
Now, I wonder on this, are they going to give a little small backstory on the second king? Because if they do, I feel like they should have made this a little longer if they were, but I don't know how far they're going to go on this one. Like I said, there are two kings, and this right here is the first king. Just like that's the first armor king. We shall see.
As the King of Iron Fist tournament progressed, King found himself face to face with a familiar adversary, Armor King.
Mm-hmm. Armor King and King, one of my two favorite rivalries in Tekken today.
Armor King entered the arena with a mix of resentment and determination,
Mm-hmm.
while King, aware of the weight of their history, approached the match with a blend of regret and resolve. Despite the bitterness of his previous defeat, Armor King couldn't help but admire King's skill. He
Yeah.
could sense he fought for a noble cause. As
Mm-hmm.
they began to clash, King knew that their rivalry had been born from his mistake, and he desperately wanted to make things right, silently hoping that this fight could be a turning point in their feud.
Mm-hmm.
King versus Armor King.
Tekken
Past
Tag.
animosities. In the wake of their battle, a new bond began to form.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They became like best friends. Can't say the same about the second king and the second armor king. Can't say the same.
revelation of King's true purpose for entering the tournament, to raise funds for his orphanage, struck a chord with Armor King. He saw in King a kindred spirit, someone who fought for a cause greater than himself. In the weeks that followed, the two began training together for King's next fights in the tournament, their rivalry transforming into friendship.
Yep.
They pushed each other to new heights, and their mutual respect grew with each session. Armor King opened up to King, sharing stories of his own journey as a luchador and the close bond he shared with his brother.
Yep.
Through their interactions, both fighters discovered that they had more in common than they initially thought.
How old is the second Armor King? How old was he? Because the second king was a lot younger than the first king. Because the second king, he was a child, while this king was, in his early mid 20s. So I wonder how old the Armor King is.
As the tournament resumed, King turned his focus to the next challenge. Enter Jack, a towering figure of metal and might, a hulking android designed
Rah,
for one
rah.
purpose, to be a ruthless
Rah.
killing machine. This
That's how
battle
he
was
sounds every
not
time he
just
gets beat.
physical but symbolic, pitting the heart and soul of a man against the cold, unfeeling strength of a machine.
King versus Jack.
He still ain't touching Brian Fury.
King, undeterred, stepped into battle, fueled by the dreams of the children waiting for him back home.
Kazuya Mishima. Boy, that was a cold. That's a cold character.
King versus Kazuya Mishima.
Kazuya Mishima is a cold character. I'm pretty sure he lost because we all know Kazuya Mishima. He won the first Tekken tournament.
His head held high. As he reflected on his experiences, he realized that his true purpose had always been about more than just winning. It was about fighting for something bigger than himself. His
Yep.
thoughts turned to the children at the monastery. They were his true victory, and the legacy he would leave behind would be measured not in trophies or titles, but in the lives he touched and the hope he kindled. With a renewed sense of purpose, King set his sights on the future, ready to embrace the next chapter in his life. King returned to the monastery. Although defeated, he still triumphed. He had achieved what he set out to do.
Yep,
Secure
he
a
did.
future for the orphanage.
He did.
The priests welcomed him with open arms, proud of the man who had turned his life around for the sake of others. With the prize money, King did more than just fund the orphanage. He expanded it, opening its doors to more children. He adopted several kids off the streets, providing them with shelter and a family. The monastery became a sanctuary of hope, a place where the echoes of laughter replaced the silence of despair.
Yep.
Among the new faces was a young boy.
That's the second king. Okay,
In his eyes,
we're getting into it.
yielding spirit.
That's the second
boy
king.
hold a special place in King's heart. Even at his tender age, he was already a big fan of King's wrestling matches, watching them with wide-eyed wonder. King saw a reflection of his younger self in the boy, the same resilience, the same untamed spirit.
Yep.
He would often be seen at King's side, mimicking his moves and wearing a small, makeshift jaguar mask. King found joy in this young admirer, unknowingly setting the child up on a path where he would one day take up.
Yep. And this right here, this clip right here, that's Tekken 3. That's when the new king comes, because the new king, he was guided by Armor King after, the first king's death. So yes, I'm glad they're talking about the young king. I think they need another part to this, even because there are two kings, just like there are two Armor Kings. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it.
His mantle and continue his legacy. around him. This, he realized, was what he had been fighting for all along, a chance to give these children the love and support he never had. Silently, he made a promise to himself. He would do everything in his power to be the role model they needed, to show them that no matter how dark their pasts, there was always hope for a brighter future. His journey was far from over. To continue funding the orphanage, he would have to keep pursuing his wrestling career, something he was more than happy to do. But
Yep.
for now, he relished this moment of peace, a rare luxury in a fighter's life. The orphanage was his legacy, a testament to a fighter who turned his pain into purpose. As King looked to the future, he knew his path was intertwined with the children he saved. Together, they would face whatever came next, with the heart of a luchador and the spirit of a warrior.
Yep. Okay, this is after, when you play as King in Tekken 1. This is after, every time a character that you play as and they win, you know, that's King's story. This is Tekken 1. I love it. He dedicated his life to them kids. Yeah, so this definitely is canon. Okay. Man, yeah, that was good. I love this. It gave a great backstory on the first king because for a while I didn't know anything, about the first king. I know more about the second king than I did the first king. So I'm glad they had a little backstory on this king. And like I said before, Tekken is my favorite fighting game. It's definitely one of the first video games I've ever played on PlayStation. I think Tekken 2 was the first one I've ever played, and then I had to go back and play, Tekken 1 and then with Tekken 3, Tekken Tag and all of that. But King was always one of my favorite characters and I love King. He was always one of my favorite characters. And just to get a little backstory on him, I'm glad that, they created this so whoever, I applaud you. I applaud you. And I know there's more, so I'm gonna react to more and different characters. So with that being said, post your comments down below. Let me know what you all thought. If you enjoy my reaction, you will get more. You might not ask for it, but you gonna get more. So with that being said, Renzo gang, I love y'all, and I'm really grateful that y'all came onto my channel and just enjoyed the content that I've been giving you. I really appreciate you guys just taking the time out and just, showing my channel some love. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I really do. Because first of all, without God, I wouldn't be having this channel. And without Him giving me you guys as my, my fans and my audience, I wouldn't be here. So first and foremost, thank God Almighty, thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Thank you. Because I'm finally able to do what I want to do for a long time, giving you guys the content that I want to give you, and I want to give you guys something fresh. I don't want to, be repetitive and give you everything, other creators do. So as far as I'm concerned, I really appreciate each and every single one of y'all for coming onto my channel showing me love. I really do. Now, as far as, reacting to like other, YouTubers stuff, I probably won't do as much. If I do, I'll do like every once in a blue moon, because like I said, YouTube is really cracking down on copyright strikes. And for those that, if you notice that I've been, muting the music on some of the stuff and talking over the commentary, I don't want to get any copyright strikes. You know, now that I can say that I'm officially a YouTuber, I know how it feels. So with that being said, y'all, I love y'all. Renzo Gang, we outie. You feel me?